Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So we are finally back with another context video of the Building a Space Station time-lapse videos. And this is the current state of the build. Alright, so current state of the build, it's looking pretty good. I think we're kind of coming to an end of the spaceship build, the space station build. Running out of ideas, but I mean I can still add more stuff if I wanted to, but I might be moving on to a different time-lapse build very shortly. I think this is going to be done, I guess, as much as possible. I mean, one thing I can do is color it, but I kind of feel like it's going to be a little rough to color some certain areas because they're like crammed into different nooks and crannies and things like that. So I might not do that. I'm not sure yet. If I find a way to get inspired to do the coloring and everything like that, then yeah, I'll probably do it. But I think we're coming close to a close here. We probably want to add a few more things or do something a little bit different as well in terms of the time lapse. But I think the station for the most part is nearly complete. Just got minor things to do, but I don't know yet. We'll decide a little bit later on what we're gonna do. But for the most part, it is fairly furnished with a lot of room that you can still build stuff into. Another thing is we haven't found uranium. We just couldn't find it in all the asteroid hopping that we've done. And that is mainly to create some reactors and put them in the battery room. So haven't got that chance to do that and run uranium for the space station just yet. So I don't know. It's probably gonna take me forever to find it. Who knows? But those are some of the things that are left and hanging out there right now. So yeah, I likely just gotta build a few more things out. Definitely more defenses would be better as well, but we don't have any of that. We have two pieces of defense, which is this pyramid triangular diamond shaped tower and a newly built cylindrical tower right here. And this is more of artillery, missiles, and then some autocannons here, or assault cannon turrets. But yeah, going in order of the previous time-lapse build, starting from 13, the first thing we did was to create these kind of ships, small ships, or yeah, small grid ships. And it's this scout drone or scout ship here, bit of a kind of like a fencing mask kind of thing here. I wish I could wrap it a little bit better, but these ion thrusters are kind of in the way. And this was just a different, unique take of kind of building out a small grid ship just to scout around and look for some resources like uranium. And initially I had a autocannon on top, but I swapped it out with a seat instead so I could stick the cameraman on there, or the camera person on there. The biggest flaw on this ship is the side thrusting. Not too many, about 5 on each side. It's not enough to really sustain the movement as well as using the large grid ones, but it works okay. It's not too bad. So yeah, this was like a mini scout ship that I just built out. I'm gonna try to put these in the workshop sooner or later, and the whole entire space station once I'm done with it. So that's episode 13, along with this little scout drone here. So this one in particular is a drone. So it has a remote control, an antenna, and a Gatling turret right there, and it's run mostly on ion thrusters. It could definitely use a reactor uranium to keep it fueled for a very long time. Right now, although in one of the episodes I did create a bit of a printing station, but of course we had the build and repair nanobots system. So once we project it and get it closed here, or put a block right here, it starts building it because of the build and repair system. So with that done, I released it and have it do a waypoint for a drone for defense. So it goes, I'll say I'm put right over here. That's waypoint 1, waypoint 2, waypoint 3, and waypoint 4. And it cycles back to waypoint 1. But the problem I found with doing that is that this drone ship doesn't have that much energy or batteries or a way to recharge. So that was a bit of a fail there. So I think I have 2 drones that are kind of floating away or floated away. So I think one of them is right there, which might be, I think, flying away now. Or yeah, or is it stuck here? I think it's stuck here. Is it? Yeah, it's slowly floating away as you see here. So it ran out of batteries, obviously, that's why. So we could try to save it if we want to. I think I just slowed. Can I slow it down? Kind of, but not really. It's alright. It's kind of minimal parts anyway, so it's not that bad. But yeah, that was a bit of a fail there, because I forgot about recharging the batteries, basically. But anyways, the next thing we did after creating the scout ship and a drone, we dug out a hole through this asteroid right over here, so we can park this large grid drill ship. So yeah, so basically afterwards, I can use connectors and merge blocks so we can separate this space station from the asteroid at any given time. Initially, it was just a block connecting to it, but we changed that. So if we need to move the space station, we will move it away from the asteroid here. But the asteroid is piped into the main space station, and this big hole in the asteroid was a lot of work. We used the drill and drilled it twice, one down here and another set up here. Accidentally drilled a little too far and created this bit of a hole here, but not too bad since we could use these new curved windows for fun and test them out, and it looks pretty good. And when I furnished it here, I used these neon tube. Don't really use it too often, to be honest, but I use the neon tubes for extra lighting and the light panels for lighting. So you have the light panels here, down here, and then you'll see other tubings as well. And also the covered blocks here, the covered or reinforced conveyor tubes, as they call it. So these are some extra stuff that I was just using that came with the new update, Most Wanted. So I have most of the DLCs. I think I'm just missing one on this account, but it shouldn't have affected any of the upgrades or updates from that new update. The last part of this was kind of like, you know, building out the walls and everything like that. We have a lot of room, like on the bottom to pipe. This whole part right here, I think, was like a big hole that was already there originally. So we didn't do much with it. We just enclosed it with the large blocks or large grid blocks. And then we built out this whole piston system, which was the clang-inducing or sacrificing system, because it was wiggling a lot at one point. And luckily, it only caused minimal damage that we were able to quickly repair, so that was a good thing. But yeah, so generally we did a piston here that stretched out all the way front, and then we created a set of new pistons on top that are not extended, so they're collapsed basically. So that way we could create a very long piston system. So this one on the bottom will shrink or collapse,
Energy critical.
and the top one will extend. So it brings this whole entire ship all the way outside. And of course, things you don't see is these little things here, like this button. And this button is to pretty much reverse the whole entire system the opposite ways of how they're currently set up. So hitting the big red button, this extends, this collapses. Right, so other than that, yeah, so this thing worked out pretty well. It was wiggly and wobbly, mainly because the thrusters were on, but a quick little fix was adding a gyroscope with the piston system, which seems to be working out okay, which is not terrible. It does get a kind of stuck once in a while, but we could easily fix that by just pressing the big red button a couple of times and it'll just fix itself. As you see here, hit the big red button and it just extends out. So the bottom one collapses, top one extends. And it brings it out pretty far outside of the asteroid hangar, as you see. We're gonna get up to right around here. It's not as far as I want it because we have this whole spot right here that's kind of still in the way. But it's good enough for the most part. And yeah, it just still bounces a little bit like this, which is not too bad because once I release it, it's perfectly fine. I'm not going to release it now because I discovered that this whole entire base or space station is actually running really low on batteries for some reason. And I think the refineries kind of drained it all when we dug out this hole because we collected all the stone that was here. So that's the main reason why we burned all that out. But we got a ton of resources, which is great. So yeah, push the big red button again. It brings it all back. The bottom two button is just to fix the top and bottom piston sections if something were to happen to it. So we can just extend it and retract it and everything like that. So as you see here, it comes back, fixes up, and it just sits here. It's going to bounce a little bit, but it's not too crazy. And another thing, I did add a bit of an antenna to this big drilling ship too. But those are the minor details that you don't see, or you may not see in a time lapse for the most part. But yeah, we used some new blocks, old blocks, and pretty much made a big hangar for this drill ship into the asteroid, which was a fun project. It was a huge project, and unfortunately, it's still a little bit smaller than I liked for this ship. But with the piston to extend like that, really did help out. Oh, and just to note, the main reason why the clang actually did happen, other than the thrusters being on, not having a gyroscope here, is because one or two of them, or a set of them, didn't have shared inertia at the time. So that's why I was wiggling. But then it also wiggled even crazier the moment it hit shared inertia. So afterwards, I decided to release the ship. And it kind of just went sideways a little bit. So it went from here, shaking left and right. And then it just went boom. So what broke is probably a drill in the front. A thruster down here or so kind of broke as well. So we easily just fixed that. Of course, the wall broke a bit too. But nothing too crazy. And then after that, I think we spent 2 episodes on this. We drilled out the whole 1 episode. And then we furnished or closed it out the wall as a 2nd episode. And if you want to see what it looks like on the other side with the window, it looks actually pretty decent. Right here, we rounded it out with the new window blocks as you see here. So that's why it looks like that. And I wanted it to peek out more, but it just kind of looked funky. So I just made it not peek out as much. But you see down here the space, and this is the big old hole I was talking about before. So this is kind of like the inside of that whole hangar for that ship. So there's a lot of room to build in here. We want to have a asteroid base, but not necessary in that sense. But yeah, it's not powered. It's not anything if I release it. So that's another thing. I do need to put batteries or some kind of solar system array to keep it powered, which I could do that too. Minor little things. I haven't flown the ship in a while, which I should, but yeah, we just kind of left it alone as is. And the last video that we've done, of course, is adding more weapons as we mentioned before. And this one again, artilleries, missiles, and these should be the assault cannon turrets, right? Yep, assault cannon turrets. So that's what we added here, and it was a little hard to see in the time lapse the inside, but it's still. Jeez, the door closed on me so quickly. But the inside is fairly simple. So most of this is connected through the middle right here. All the plumbing's done there. It connects all the way to the middle right here. And it splits out to the sides. So the assault cannon sides and then the very top would be that artillery and missile launcher. So that's all there. It's I didn't do too much detailing here, but there was 3 doors that we created at one point. So we had a top door and 2 side doors here, and all 3 of them are the same look, but there's different hallways for them for whatever reasons. And it's connected to this piece here, which is our hydrogen pretty much tanks and everything like that. One thing I do hate about the space station, that everything it's very closed out, right? So it's hard to maneuver from one place to another. So if you go to the power station, to the middle port of the console, then you can travel in and out, but you can't travel from one end to the other end. So we can't travel from the battery station into whatever is in here, which is the, oh, this is the living quarters. So yeah, we need to find a way to connect all that, and I think maybe adding new doors here to the middle of these tunnels will help, or we create stuff in between to kind of circle it out all together in that sense, so you can travel across one another instead of always having to go through the middle. But yeah, that's the space station time-lapse build. It's looking great for the most part. It can work as a ship, to be honest. Like, we can just cut the armory, not the armory, the hangar, and cut the battery station, maybe make a new one, and then this kind of just looks like a ship in that sense. Of course, we need to add a whole bunch of thrusters, but yeah. So yep, that's it for the context of the last 4 time-lapse videos. We're gonna probably make a few more if we decide to color. That'll be 1 episode if anything, because there's a lot to color. We probably have to use the paint gun mod to do the coloring. It makes life easier that way. And I don't know what else to make, to be honest, but we'll figure it out. So the frequency of the time-lapse may or may not be as often, unless I can do it all at once and then release it later. But a lot of new plans coming up very soon as well. But yeah, leave a comment down below if you have ideas of what I should add. And once we're complete with the space station, we are going to save it, put it in the workshop so you guys can use it and play around with it. We're going to save some of the ships individually as well. And then I might just play a scenario with it, meaning put a whole bunch of mods on and see if we could just defend ourselves in the space station. Although I'm not sure if anything's gonna spawn if we don't travel much, but I think that's what we're gonna do. That's kind of the trajectory of the project, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and of course I'll see you guys next time. Bye.